It's been a year since the first coronavirus case was reported in the state, and since then over 9,700 people have died in Louisiana, and they're more than statistics. This week we're remembering some of those lost, and today we introduce you to Joycelyn Bagley, a lifelong resident of Metairie who loves seafood, going to the boat, and the Saints in LSU. Joycelyn Bagley fought COVID-19 in the hospital for a month before passing away on February 5th. She was 79 years old. She worked in accounts payable at Hotel Dieu Hospital, which became University Medical Center, holding that job for 46 years. It was there she met the love of her life, Jerry Bagley Sr. They were married for 32 years, and Joycelyn was the proud stepmom to 2 stepsons and cherished her 4 step grandkids. Joycelyn loved crawfish. Her sister Charlotte says she had a special chair she liked to sit in when they had crawfish boils. Charlotte tells us that chair will always be reserved for Joycelyn. Charlotte says she was all about family, food, and faith, and football, how she loved her Saints and everything LSU. Charlotte called her sister the glue that held their large Catholic family together. One of 10 siblings, in 1993 when their mother passed away, it was Joycelyn who stepped up to fill that void. 6 of Joycelyn's family members had COVID, 4 of which had to be hospitalized. Her twin sister got it, but her only symptom was a minor cough. Joycelyn's husband, Jerry, had to be hospitalized, but he beat COVID-19. However, 3 weeks to the day following Joycelyn's death, Jerry suffered a heart attack and passed away. Charlotte says although his cause of death was classified as a heart attack, the family believes he died of a broken heart.